The car pulled up and shot 2Pac. Car pulled right here and shot 2Pac at this light. Car went that way. I was living right here in 1996 when 2Pac got killed. Right here. I ain't never told nobody. Only the close people with me know.
Pac's murder case got reopened, and before you know it, new details started emerging from all sides. Not only did we catch a glimpse of what could have happened to Pac that night, but we also got a hold of some new footage that shows Pac just moments before his death. Back in the day, on September 7th, 1996, 2Pac, a legend, was only 25 years old, and he was rolling in a sleek black BMW with Suge Knight, the big shot from Death Row Records. They were part of this cool caravan with like 10 cars, all heading to a nightclub after watching Mike Tyson's epic knockout of Bruce Seldon at the MGM Grand. But then things got real messed up when this white Cadillac pulled up next to him at a red light near the Las Vegas Strip. Inside that caddy, there were 4 dudes. One of them went crazy, unloading bullets into the passenger side of Knight's car. 2Pac was chilling in the passenger seat and got hit 4 times. Some of those bullets even found their way into his chest. Knight was lucky though, just got grazed by some fragments. It was heartbreaking news for everyone. 6 days later, on September 13th, 1996, 2Pac was gone, pronounced dead at 4:03 p.m. at the University Medical Center in LA. The hospital said he passed away because of respiratory failure and cardiopulmonary arrest. It's still hard to wrap our heads around it, you know? The world lost a true talent that day, and if we're left with all these questions about what really went down that night, rest in peace, 2Pac. Your legacy lives on, always remember. Back in 96, the Las Vegas cops were trying to crack the case of Tupac Shakur's killing, but it hit a wall because nobody wanted to spill the beans. Even with the whole thing going down in public and Tupac being famous, they never arrested anyone for it. His family, fans, and some black artists argued that the justice system showed a double standard here. They believed if the celeb was white, the police would have moved heaven and earth to find the culprits. Now, the cops claim it's because the folks around Tupac wouldn't cooperate, but there's more to it. The cops made some big-time mistakes. First, they ignored the incident where Tupac had a run-in with a gang guy at a hotel before the shooting. Then they didn't bother following up with a witness who could have ID'd the attackers. Damn, that witness got shot later in some other mess. And get this, they had a lead on a white Cadillac, the same kind of shooters used, but they didn't even bother chasing it. Solving gang-related murders ain't a piece of cake, man. No evidence, no witnesses talking. It's a real mess. Tupac's crew didn't have a great relationship with the cops, and the cops didn't know how to deal with gangs like the one from Compton. See, these gang dudes were all about respect, so if the detectives show him some courtesy, they might have gotten some inside info to crack the case. But that never happened. Cops rolled up on the scene and treated Tupac's crew like they were the suspects, pulling guns on them and all. That just made the witnesses angry. And some believe that made them more reluctant to help the police out. Las Vegas police never even said sorry for their aggressive approach. Later, when they tried to take statements from the crew, they were all like, nah, we ain't talking. Suge Knight straight up told them it wasn't his job to solve homicides or snitch on people. The detectives got frustrated, calling it the typical gang mentality. They figured if people don't want to talk, there's no point in pushing them over and over again. After all, citizens have their rights. But there was this one witness, Yafu Gaddafi Fula, who was willing to help. He was close to Tupac. He said he might know who did it. Problem was, the cops didn't follow up on him properly. They didn't even try contacting him again. Things got even messier. A few days later, Fula had a run-in with the police, got handcuffed and searched, but no charges were filed. Then, after Tupac passed away, Fula left for Las Vegas and went to New Jersey to be with his family. Meanwhile, investigators from Compton had some mugshots of gang members they wanted to show Fula, but they couldn't reach him. And when they finally tried to set up a meeting through his lawyer, it was too late. Fula got shot dead in a housing project in New Jersey. It was just one big, sad mess. After Tupac got shot, the cops went all out in Compton, trying to stop the gang war that erupted. They nabbed nearly 24 gang members and took their weapons and ammo, hoping to get some intel about the shooting. One of the dudes they grabbed was Orlando Anderson, who had some ties to the gang scene. Las Vegas detectives showed up, had a quick chat with him, and that was it. But here's the crazy part, they didn't even bother talking to the other gang members, which totally surprised the local cops. They were like, yo, we got these guys in custody and they might know something about Tupac's killing. But the Vegas detectives were like, meh, not interested. They barely did anything with Orlando and never spoke to him again. 2 days later, they let him go without any charges for the previous gang killing. And you won't believe what happened next. The dude got killed in a drug-related shootout at a car wash. Some New York gang investigators said the Vegas detectives blew a golden opportunity. When you're dealing with gangs, you gotta be persistent, man. Keep coming back at them, put a lot of pressure on them until they talk. but it's like the Vegas crew didn't want to get the memo or something. Now, here's the twist. There's a white Cadillac that showed up in Compton just 2 days after Tupac got shot. It had a rental sticker, and people said the Crips took it to a car stereo shop for repairs. The word on the street was that one of Tupac's bodyguards even took a shot at that car in Las Vegas. The Compton cops gave all this info to the Las Vegas investigators, but they swear they never got it. The local guys did everything they could, checking rental agencies and following leads on that car, but it's like the Vegas detectives didn't give a flip and didn't bother following on it. It's safe to say the Las Vegas police had some serious trust issues with the Compton crew. Compton had a shady history with political corruption, and there were even rumors of some cops being connected to gangs. No wonder the Vegas guys were skeptical about teaming up with them. Back in the day, Compton had its own police force, but they went through a bunch of drama and decided to bring the big guns from LA County. The Compton Gang Squad was known to be one of the best in Southern California around the time of Tupac's shooting. But here's where it gets juicy. The Las Vegas cops were worried that Compton city officials were too close to Suge Knight, who grew up there and had ties with the police force. Suge's security chief was even a former Compton cop, and his dad ran the gang unit. With rumors swirling that Suge might have had a hand in Tupac's death, it made the Vegas detectives real suspicious of him. To calm their nerves, the Compton chief replaced the senior Wright with Baker in the Tupac investigation. But even then, the Las Vegas investigators kept their distance. They didn't trust anyone and just didn't want to listen, not even to the folks who knew the Southside Crips inside out. Some former Compton officers weren't ready to give up though. They still believe Tupac's murder could have been solved, and maybe it still can be. They think all the clues are right there, and if only there was better cooperation, justice could finally be served. Fast forward to 2002, and the LA Times decided to do their own investigation, pointing fingers at a Compton gang called the Southside Crips. Apparently they wanted revenge because Tupac allegedly beat up one of their members just hours before the shooting. Check this out, in October 2018, Suge Knight, the big boss of Death Row Records, gets slammed with a 28-year sentence for running over and killing a music exec named Terry Carter. During the trial, Suge starts saying that he was the real target of that drive-by that killed Tupac. He throws his ex-wife and the former Death Row security chief under the bus, claiming they were behind this whole shooting mess. But Suge's name isn't the only one that keeps popping up when we talk about Tupac and his tragic passing. Very little after, we would lose yet another rap star, one of Pac's biggest rivals ever, Biggie Smalls. About 6 months after Tupac's, the notorious B.I.G. also met his end on March 9, 1997. Everybody thinks Biggie's shooting was tied to Tupac's murder, but just like Tupac's case, it's still unsolved. These two rappers were smack in the middle of that infamous East Coast-West Coast beef that was rocking the hip-hop world in the mid-90s. It all kicked off when Tupac got messed up in another shooting during a robbery at a hotel in Manhattan. He straight up accused Biggie and Diddy of knowing about it beforehand, but they both denied any involvement. Their feud got wild, man. They were throwing diss tracks at each other like it was a sport. Tupac hit back with that fiery hit 'em up, taking direct shots at Biggie, and then Biggie fired back with Who You Shot, a track that sparked controversy. B.I.G. said it wasn't aimed at Tupac. These dudes were at each other's throats, and their rivalry became the stuff of legends in the hip-hop world. Sadly, their lives were cut short, and the truth behind their deaths is still a mystery to this day. Tupac and Biggie made a huge impact on the game, and they'll never be forgotten. Fast forward to 2018-2019, and the Las Vegas police decided to revisit the case after a Netflix doc called Unsolved: The Tupac and Biggie Murders dropped in 2018. And then in 2019, a book by Keefe D, aka Dwayne Keefe Davis, called Compton Street Legend hit the shelves. Keefe D claims to be one of the 2 living witnesses to the shooting. And now, here we are in July 2023. The search warrant's out and it's all tied to this case. Things might be heating up again, and who knows, maybe we'll finally get some answers. The Tupac murder investigation has recently seen a surprising twist. Bullets were discovered at the residence of Keefe D, and authorities plan to examine them to determine if they're linked to the rapper's death. Keefe D is the uncle of Orlando Anderson, who's believed to have been involved in the 1996 shooting of Tupac. He has openly admitted to his involvement in the incident and asserts that he is only one of 2 living witnesses to the shooting. The other witness is Suge Knight, who is currently serving a sentence of manslaughter in an unrelated case.
Said the shots came from the back. Big Dre, Orlando. Who shot Tupac?
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat, bro.
Recently, the police obtained a search warrant and found 40 caliber bullets at the residence of Keefe D's wife, Paula Clemens, located on Maple Shade Street in Henderson, Nevada. Paula owns the house. Now they plan to examine these bullets to determine if they match the ones recovered from Tupac's body and the crime scene. For over 25 years, the authorities have kept forensic evidence, including bullets and clothing from the incident. They have a full-fledged lab analysis of everything from back then. The cops believe these bullets could be a potential lead, but they know it's a long shot that they are from 1996. Nevertheless, they remain hopeful that this could be a breakthrough in cracking the cold case. Initially, there was suspicion that a Glock pistol was the murder weapon, but it turned out not to be a match. The ATF conducted tests, but the gun was later destroyed. During the search of Keefe D's house, the authorities also seized computers, hard drives, and old photos from the 90s. It appears that they are trying to establish connections to people associated with the shooting. All this evidence will be presented to a grand jury in Vegas, where they'll decide whether to press charges against anyone. No arrests were ever made, and while Orlando Anderson was the main suspect, he was killed in a gang shootout in 1998. It's unbelievable how it all unfolded, from the brawl at the MGM Grand Lobby to the drive-by shooting later on. Keefe D even wrote about the incident in a book, confessing to being inside the car with Orlando, passing him the gun when things got escalated. People can't wait to see if this reopening will finally conclude in the fashion that it deserves. One comment wrote, "The entire world will be happy when they find all accomplices. Legends never die. R.I.P. Tupac." Another one said, "I really hope something comes out of this. Whether you're a fan of Tupac's music or not, the world lost a wise person. Dude's brilliant." There is some new footage that has finally been released, and this one answers some interesting questions that have been floating around for a while. The Walter J. Brown Media Archives and Peabody Awards collection just dropped this video of Tupac, and it's making waves. This video finally clears up a part of the story that many people were curious about: Suge Knight changing clothes. After watching this footage outside Luxor, did they head to Suge's house before going down to 662? This all went down at Luxor, and during the fight, Tupac was rocking a gold shirt. After that, he went and changed into this outfit. They swung by Suge's place so that he could switch up his clothes too, and then they hit the road to 662. That's when things got real crazy because they spotted the killers on their way there. That part of the story has always been tricky to understand since there's hardly any info available about it. Interestingly enough, this wasn't the only thing that came up about Tupac's murder. You see, Floyd Mayweather spoke up about the situation because a video of him came up recently as well. Earlier this week, a video popped up online where Floyd Mayweather seemed to be saying he witnessed Tupac Shakur's murder. The clip, filmed in 2014, showed Mayweather talking about Tupac's killing with filmmaker John Singleton. He mentioned being right there when it happened and the car driving off after the shots were fired.
The car pulled up and shot Tupac. Car pulled right here and shot Tupac at this light. Car went that way. I was living right here in 1996 when Tupac got killed. Right here. I ain't never told nobody. Only the close people with me know.
Mayweather said he never told anybody about it. Only his closest peeps knew. At the time of Tupac's murder, Mayweather was just 19 years old, and about a month later, that's when he started his pro boxing career. On Instagram, Mayweather tried to clear things up, saying he never claimed to witness the shooting. He lived in an apartment near the spot where Tupac got shot, and he showed that location to John Singleton for his documentary or movie about Tupac. Mayweather insists that he had nothing to do with the witnessing of Tupac's death. The thing is, his recent comments seem like a rushed backtrack. In 2023, he says he never said he witnessed the shooting, but back in 2014, he sure made it sound like he was right there, pulling up beside Tupac. And why say he never told anybody when he was living in an apartment at the very place Tupac got killed? It's a little strange. Maybe he meant to say they pulled up instead of I pulled up. But one thing's very clear: Mayweather doesn't want any part of being associated with Tupac's murder. This is some heavy stuff, and we'll just have to see how it all unfolds. Let's hope they can finally get some closure on this case and justice for Tupac. What do you think about Pac's case getting into the spotlight after all this time, and Floyd getting involved as well? Let us know about it down below. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, you know what you gotta do. Keep it RIZZLE. What you gotta do, keep it RIZZLE.